Hello, my name is Jessica Vaughn. I'm with Durham Technical Community College, and I am going to talk about, I gotta figure out how to use this remote here. Talk about the implementation process, our do's and don'ts, what we've learned, what we continue to learn, and kind of hope to give some insight on that. So if you have already implemented, you can just sit back, scroll your phone, ignore me right now. You're not gonna be, you might not learn anything. Okay. So this is our, I keep looking back, this is our list of, top 10 list of recommendations to help you manage the project. And so I'm gonna go through these and give a few tips and tricks. So the first one is understand the system capabilities. Learn as much as you can about Element. You're here today, so that's your first step. Learn, learn, learn. There's so many features. They keep on adding more, so try to keep up. It's hard. But the more you know about it, the more you can make your priority list of how you want to implement. So that's tip number one. Number two is secure leadership support. And this is a shout out to our VP of Student Services, Dr. Donez. He was not able to join us, but he is our advocate for Element. He is the one that has the vision. Sometimes we have to say, like, bring it back, we're not there yet. Or the two of us get together and we're like, why isn't this an Element? What are we moving? What's happening? And our colleagues are probably like, slow down, you guys are fine, we'll get there. So, but he is our visionary, our strategist, our support. He goes back and talks to other leadership, our president, and you gotta have that. You have to have that top leader support in order to implement this large of a project across your college. Number three is establish clear project timelines. So this was kind of a reality check for us. We implemented initially in 2022, and then we had some team leads transition away from the college, and that kind of delayed our implementation process, but it allowed us to revisit our vision and what we were trying to do. And again, Dr. Donez was wanting one system to do everything. And so this allowed us to rethink and rebuild our goal. And so now we are not only implementing the CRM for one purpose, but we're also adding the early success side for an early success system to capture those early alerts and keep those students moving through. So, but make sure your project timelines are clear and established. Let's see. 4, so define your priorities clearly. So this is going to help you get to your end goal, right? So you want to make sure that you've identified what you're wanting to do. So for us, with our implementation process, we wanted to move our data from CFNC, which for some of y'all may not know, but that's like the Common App, through Element and then into our SIS. And so that's a big data integration. So we are underway with that, trying to integrate all the data, but while ensuring compliance for FERPA regulations. But we also wanted to improve student communications. So with us, we wanted to break apart some of the communications. We would send students a ton of steps at one time. And that can be overwhelming, right? So if we break that down into segments, give them a few steps at a time that are obtainable, make it a friendlier tone, give an image that has like their admission counselor's face, that they can put a face with a name. So giving it that personalization. And Element allows you to do that customization, the personalization, and then automation, right? You can just have it all automated in a workflow and send it through. So, and then also thinking further down the road is how you're going to train, how you're going to monitor this data, how you're going to review it. So continuing to look at those priorities and making sure you have them outlined appropriately. 5, appoint a dedicated project lead. So our college, I laugh because our college initially hired consultants, and Danielle is laughing in the audience too because that was not ideal for us. So that's one of the don'ts. Unless your consultants know your institution. It became more of a challenge for us because we were training the consultants on our processes and what we were doing in our college, in addition to learning Element, and that was very hard. So if you have the funding, I know that's not always key, but if you have the funding, hire a project manager, somebody that knows your institution, somebody that can help move this project. So the project manager, this is a large undertaking. So if they're the ones that are going to be making sure this project moves, making sure deadlines are met, tasks are assigned appropriately, people are following the timelines, talking to stakeholders. I mean, they're there to get this project from the beginning to the end. And so making sure you have somebody that's strong in that position to be able to do that role. Your team, right? This is huge. So a lot of my teammates are here today. Thank you. So making sure you have all the SMEs on your team that are going to be using this system the most. So for us, knowing that we wanted to take applicants all the way through the system, our goal, obviously we needed to have our student records on our team. We needed to have our ITS on the team. We needed to have marketing. So making sure you have identified your key team members that should be a part of that. And my recommendation is to have more than one team member from each area. It's crucial. We have not always had that. We've slowly added more people. And so having that is helpful because if they're out on vacation, you can divvy up the work because most of these people are still going to be working their full-time jobs, right? This is in addition to what they're doing. So having 2 or 3 people from each area to develop this team and create this project. Again, it's large, and so there's a lot of building and a lot of work behind it to make this happen. Number 7, so foster collaboration. So go around, talk to different departments, break down those silos, figure out what people do, how their current process is. If they were to move it in Element, what would that look like? If they can't move it into Element, why not? Think about offering suggestions of change, automation. A lot of people don't like change, so we have to encourage that change and help them figure out why they would benefit from using this system. But also understand what kind of requirements do they have? Do they have reporting to do? We don't want to just come in and take away their system or their current process. So we want to collaborate and make sure that everyone is working together. Number 8, so we want to develop robust processes. So obviously, as you're building this, you're going to identify what needs to be a process, what needs to be a procedure. The earlier, the better. This will ensure compliance and consistency. And so start writing those out, figuring out what would be applicable, and continue to build onto those. An example we have right now is we're building a procedure for how we're going to communicate with students using Element. So this kind of outlines the approval process, the creation, marketing's involved, supervisors are involved, employees figuring out how they're going to use Element, and so that's one of the processes or procedures we're developing right now. A training program. So how are you going to train within your institution? So defining who, what, how, when, all of those things are key. So you want to make sure you've established those. We are going to be using our LMS to create training modules so that employees that we've identified as going to be super used through this training modules to learn all the different components of Element. So figuring that out, establishing those people, and allowing the training to begin, the earlier the better. Number 10 is keep your institution informed. So we provided updates to our institution. We're constantly trying to share information. We held information sessions. We created a blog in Element that outlined via a page that outlined all the different kinds of features so people could go see, and then we can update that blog and they can continue to go to that same link for more information. So just constantly identifying the stakeholders that you need to collaborate with and brainstorm with to get feedback. So thank you. I hope you guys found something out of this as a learning example and you guys can implement at your institution.